Since the long-term tenant left in 2020 in the house attached to mine, the house has been used to house people with difficulty or barriers to housing, which we don't really have a problem with, except it has been a steady kind of traffic of people with people who are selling illegal drugs. It's been steady foot traffic. There's been a lot of violence in the house next door. There's been threats to us. Our property has been damaged. Our property has been stolen. The house itself is not in good condition. There have been 2 sewer backups in 6 months with raw sewage flowing over our property. We've been threatened, and yeah, I don't feel safe. And I've contacted Minister Pike, who is with CSSD and NL Housing, and I've only recently got 2 responses from him saying that they cannot divulge what services anybody receives, and that his department is working on it, and to continue to call the police, but they're not responsible for it. I contacted the Justice Department, and Minister Hogan said, this is not under our jurisdiction, maybe you should call Minister Pike. I'll mention it to him. So if the homeowner is not responsible, and the property manager is not responsible, and CSSD is not responsible, and the Department of Justice is not responsible, and the City of St. John's is limited in what they can do, and the RNC is limited in what they can do, and the tenant is not responsible for their own actions, then who is responsible? I think the government needs to pay more attention to appropriate housing. Obviously, the people who are being housed in the house attached to mine have complex needs, and they need a lot of supports. So what we've been seeing, so say 2 tenants ago, when there's a lot of like drug activity and stuff going on, we did see a social worker show up. And I certainly don't blame the social workers either. Sometimes there was 10 to 20 to 30 people in that house at one time, all kind of at different rates of intoxication, and it was a violent house. So if you knock on the door and you're a person by yourself, and often it was a female by themselves knocking on the door, if somebody doesn't answer, well then you can't force people to take advantage of the services that you're offering them. So I just think that you need appropriate housing. It's not enough just to put somebody in a house, because now what will happen? What will happen, the person next to me obviously has complex needs, has some mental health issues, and they do deserve to be housed. But for example, this person, the front door didn't work for almost a month. This tenant was entering and exiting his house through the ground floor window. When a member of the CSSD department called me, I just felt like saying the government is hemorrhaging money to house these people without proper supports, without wraparound supports, and it's a place that's derelict. There's no front door, and I'm trapped in the middle. So I would have to check the camera before I leave the house for my own safety. Imagine that. And if he's having an episode outside, I can't leave the house. If he's wielding an axe inches away from my front door, I can't leave my home.